Imagine vast, crumbling cities swallowed by the jungle, their gray stone pyramids piercing the canopy like forgotten gods. Elaborate carvings on stelae and temples whisper tales of kings, cosmic events, and rivers of blood. For centuries, these silent monuments stood, remnants of a civilization that achieved wonders beyond their time, only to seemingly vanish into the mists of history. This was the world of the Maya, a brilliant culture that dominated Mesoamerica for over 2 millennia, from what is now southern Mexico, through Guatemala, Belize, and parts of Honduras and El Salvador. They were master astronomers, tracking celestial movements with uncanny precision, predicting eclipses, and mapping the heavens with an accuracy that still astounds. They developed a complex hieroglyphic writing system, meticulously recording their history and knowledge, and conceived of the concept of zero long before Europe. Their intricate calendars, including the famous long count, mapped time with a foresight unparalleled by almost any other ancient society. Their cities, like the towering metropolis of Tikal, were marvels of urban planning and engineering, home to hundreds of thousands. Yet beneath this veneer of intellectual brilliance lay a darker, more chilling truth. A legacy etched in obsidian blades, the screams of captives, and the grisly altars of human sacrifice. For the Maya, war was a sacred act, a means of capturing victims to appease ravenous gods, their intricate ballgames often ending in ritual decapitation. Their art, while beautiful, frequently depicts scenes of brutal torture and dismemberment. How could a people capable of such profound intellectual feats simultaneously practice such relentless warfare and ritualized brutality? What secrets do these jungle-shrouded cities hold about their meteoric rise to power, their complex societal structure, and their eventual, mysterious collapse? And how did an empire that built such awe-inspiring cities simply disappear, leaving behind only magnificent ruins and a bloody, perplexing legacy? How couldn't just a story of forgotten glory? It's a tale of genius and savagery, of cosmic insights and horrifying rituals. A civilization that left an indelible mark on the world, both breathtaking and terrifying, whose secrets still haunt the shadows of the past. Imagine a world choked by an unforgiving jungle, where towering saber trees pierce the sky and the air hangs thick with the scent of damp earth and unseen life. Here, in the heart of Mesoamerica, millennia ago, a civilization arose that defies easy explanation. How could just primitive tribesmen scratching a living from the earth? They were architects of impossible cities, astronomers who mapped the heavens with stunning accuracy, mathematicians who conceived of zero long before Europe, and scribes who etched complex histories into stone with a hieroglyphic script so intricate it still puzzles scholars. These were the Maya. How could, for over 2 millennia, from roughly 2000 BC to the 16th century AD, the Maya dominated a vast territory across what is now southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and Honduras? Unlike the unified empires of Rome or China, the Maya were not a single, centralized kingdom. Instead, they were a constellation of independent city-states, much like ancient Greece, each with its own powerful king, political alliances, and bitter rivalries. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, Copan, and Chichen Itza were vibrant metropolises, bustling centers of trade and religious devotion, carved from the jungle itself. Their skylines were dominated by colossal stepped pyramids, intricately carved temples, and vast ball courts where ritual games were played with deadly stakes. Their intellectual prowess was astonishing. Their calendar systems, based on incredibly precise astronomical observations, were more accurate than any in Europe. They predicted eclipses, tracked planetary cycles, and calculated dates across millennia. Their mathematics, a vigesimal, base 20 system, facilitated complex calculations for architecture and astronomy. And their written language, a sophisticated system of some 800 hieroglyphs, recorded royal histories, epic myths, astronomical tables, and daily life. In many ways, this was a civilization light years ahead of its old world contemporaries, flourishing in isolation, developing a spectacular culture. But beneath this veneer of intellectual brilliance and artistic grandeur lay a heart as dark and demanding as any civilization that ever existed. The Maya were deeply spiritual, their lives intertwined with a pantheon of powerful, often capricious gods who demanded constant appeasement. Their world was one of cycles, of creation and destruction, of life and death, and their rituals reflected this profound belief. For the Maya, blood was the ultimate offering, the most potent currency in their exchanges with the divine. Kings would ritually pierce themselves, offering their own blood to ensure the fertility of the land or the success of their campaigns. Their captive warriors, noblemen, even children, were regularly sacrificed in elaborate ceremonies. Their hearts torn from chests while still beating, their bodies sometimes flayed, to nourish the gods and maintain cosmic order. The Maya built their magnificent cities not just with stone, but with sacrifice, with fear, and with an unyielding belief in a bloody, unforgiving universe. This was the foundation of the empire that would one day simply disappear. Yet, to understand the Mayans solely through the lens of sacrifice and conquest is to miss half the story. These were not merely brutal warriors. They were intellectual giants, peering into the very fabric of the cosmos with a precision that still astounds us. Imagine a civilization without telescopes, without modern computers, yet predicting celestial movements with astonishing accuracy. The Mayans were precisely that. They meticulously charted the paths of the sun, the moon, and particularly Venus, which they considered a powerful, often malevolent, celestial deity. Their observatories, like El Caracol at Chichen Itza, weren't just buildings. They were cosmic instruments, stone eyes gazing deep into the night sky, tracking the cycles of creation and destruction they believed governed their world. This profound understanding of the heavens was built upon an equally groundbreaking foundation, their mathematics. Long before Europeans fully grasped the concept, the Mayans developed the concept of zero, an intellectual leap that underpinned their complex calculations. Their vigesimal, or base 20, number system allowed them to handle numbers on a scale that would make modern astronomers nod in appreciation. It was this mathematical genius that allowed them to craft calendrical systems of breathtaking precision, far surpassing anything found in Europe at the time. Their 3 interlocking calendars were a marvel. The 260-day Tsoken, the sacred round, dictating religious ceremonies and prophecies, the 365-day Hab, tracking the agricultural year, and the enigmatic long count, capable of charting spans of time reaching into millions of years, tracing cosmic eras and predicting the fate of worlds. They calculated solstices, equinoxes, and even eclipses with an accuracy that still astounds scientists today. For the Maya, time wasn't linear. It was a cyclical dance, an elaborate performance of cosmic forces, and their calendars were the script that allowed them to read and even influence these divine rhythms. And their cities? These weren't just places to live, they were vast, intricate maps of the cosmos etched into the very earth. Every temple, every pyramid, every ball court was aligned with celestial events, designed to capture the first rays of the equinox sun or perfectly frame the rising of Venus. Take El Castillo at Chichen Itza. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts a shadow that snakes down its northern staircase, creating the illusion of a giant feathered serpent descending to earth, a physical manifestation of the god Kukulkan. This was more than architecture. It was sacred geometry, a profound physical expression of their divine connection to the universe. Cities like Tikal, with its soaring temples piercing the jungle canopy, were not only centers of power and trade but also immense ceremonial complexes, designed to resonate with the rhythms of the heavens. Steely and intricate carvings told stories of their rulers' divine lineage, their battles, and their prophetic visions, all rooted in this cosmic order. They were the ultimate architects of their own destiny, believing that by understanding the patterns above, they could better navigate the chaos below. Their urban centers were not just populated, they were performed, an ongoing theatrical reenactment of celestial dramas. This deep, almost obsessive integration of astronomy and urbanism wasn't just for show. It was the very bedrock of their society, a demonstration of their king's divine authority and their civilization's unparalleled intellectual might. They built not just cities, but monuments to their profound cosmic vision, temples that tracked the stars, and plazas that marked the march of time itself. A legacy of stone and stars, whispering secrets across the centuries. The Mayan world was no peaceful utopia. Beneath colossal pyramids, an empire pulsed with a darker rhythm, dictated by their gods' insatiable demands and the relentless pursuit of power. For the Maya, conflict was not merely territorial. It was a sacred, cosmic struggle played out in brutal battle. Warfare was endemic. City-states vied for dominance, but their objectives extended beyond simple conquest. This profound, ritualistic purpose drove much bloodshed, the capture of offerings for their divine patrons. These weren't just prisoners. They were conduits to the gods, destined for altars stained with life's essence. Imagine thousands of warriors in elaborate feather headdresses and jade, faces painted, clashing with conch trumpets and obsidian-edged macuital swords. The goal was often maim and capture. This high-ranking enemy, brought back alive, was a king's trophy, a potent symbol of divine favor. His fate was far more terrible than death. For the Maya, blood was the ultimate divine currency. It was the sacred sap nourishing the universe, ensuring the sun rose, maize grew, and the world did not collapse. Denying the gods this sustenance invited catastrophe. Blood sacrifice became the cornerstone of Mayan religion and statecraft, a terrifying covenant between rulers and the cosmos. Who were the chosen victims? Often, high-status captives, rival kings or nobles whose sacrifice amplified victors' glory. This was just outsiders. For momentous occasions, elite offered their own blood. Kings and queens pierced tongues, ears, or genitals with stingray spines or obsidian blades, allowing vitae to drip onto bark paper, burned as an offering, its smoke carrying prayers. But the most chilling sacrifices occurred on towering altars. Murals depict unspeakable horror, hearts ripped still beating from chests, bodies decapitated, dismembered, or thrown down pyramid steps. Children, too, were offered, their innocence a potent gift. Crowds gathered to witness these spectacles, a potent demonstration of divine power and authority. Screams, blood mingling with copal, severed heads on skull racks, integral parts of the Mayan cosmos. This was the chilling price of power in the Mayan world. A constant negotiation with the unseen, a desperate attempt to maintain order in a universe perpetually teetering on the brink of collapse. And the currency of that negotiation was always, inevitably, blood. Imagine looking upon vast, magnificent cities rising in splendor from the jungle, filled with tens of thousands of people, their markets bustling, their temples echoing with chants, their observatories charting the stars. Now imagine those same cities just decades later, silent, empty, swallowed by the encroaching forest. Their intricate stone carvings eroded, their grand plazas devoid of life, their sophisticated water systems crumbling. This wasn't the result of a conquering army laying waste to the land. No, the cities were simply abandoned. Their people walked away, leaving behind the greatest mystery of the ancient Americas. So, what happened? How could one of history's most advanced civilizations, seemingly at the height of its power, simply vanish from its urban centers? The truth is, there's no single, simple answer, but a confluence of devastating factors that turned the Maya world into a slow-motion catastrophe. Perhaps the most compelling theory points to the sky, or rather, the lack thereof, climate change. Archaeological evidence, particularly from lakebed sediment cores, reveals that the Maya lowlands suffered a series of increasingly severe droughts between 800 and 1100 AD. These weren't just dry spells, they were multi-decade events, punishing periods where the heavens seemed to close completely. For an agricultural civilization dependent on predictable rainfall for its staple crop, maize, this was a death sentence. Crops withered and died, reservoirs dried up, and the very foundation of Maya society began to crack. The kings, believed to be divine intermediaries capable of communicating with the gods and ensuring rain, performed increasingly elaborate blood sacrifices, but the rains did not come. Faith in their rulers, and perhaps even their pantheon, eroded with every parched field. But it wasn't just nature acting alone. The Maya inadvertently played a significant role in their own demise through widespread environmental degradation. To fuel their cities, to produce the vast quantities of stucco plaster needed for their dazzling temples and palaces, they relentlessly deforested their lands. Researchers estimate it took 5 tons of limestone to make 1 ton of plaster, which then required burning massive amounts of wood at incredibly high temperatures. Vast tracts of rainforest were clear-cut, leading to massive soil erosion, reduced biodiversity, and a devastating feedback loop. Less forest meant less moisture retention in the soil, exacerbating the droughts. The fragile ecosystem, already stressed, was pushed past its breaking point. This environmental collapse then fed into another deadly factor: escalating warfare. As resources dwindled, competition between the fiercely independent Maya city-states intensified. No longer fighting for prestige or captives, warfare became a desperate scramble for land, water, and food. Glyphic inscriptions from the late Classic period tell a grim tale of besieged cities, defeated kings, and populations forcibly displaced. These weren't brief skirmishes. They were prolonged, brutal conflicts that destabilized entire regions, disrupted trade routes, and further strained an already collapsing infrastructure. People couldn't grow food when fields were battlegrounds, and they couldn't rebuild when attackers loomed. Finally, we must consider the intertwined social and political factors. The collapse wasn't uniform. Some cities held on longer than others. But the combined weight of drought, environmental devastation, and constant warfare likely led to a breakdown of central authority. When the divine kings couldn't bring rain or ensure prosperity, their authority was questioned. Starving peasants, facing impossible demands from a ruling class still building temples in their fading glory, may have simply rebelled, or, more likely, simply walked away from the cities that could no longer sustain them. They fled to smaller, more remote settlements, or scattered into the rural hinterlands, leaving the monumental cities to the jungle. The Maya didn't disappear in a single cataclysmic event. Instead, their civilization unraveled over centuries, a slow and agonizing decline brought about by a perfect storm of environmental change, self-inflicted ecological wounds, relentless conflict, and political decay. The cities, once vibrant centers of learning and power, became haunting testaments to a vanished age, their empty plazas and crumbling temples whispering a cautionary tale across the millennia. The jungle, in its relentless embrace, eventually reclaimed the sprawling stone cities of the Maya. Pyramids became hills of green, plazas were swallowed by roots, and the cries of jaguars echoed where once kings held court. But the most enduring myth surrounding this enigmatic civilization is that they simply vanished. That one day, the great empire, the masters of time and stars, just ceased to be. This is a profound misconception. Their grand civilization, yes, fragmented and transformed under the weight of ecological stress, internal warfare, and shifting power dynamics, long before European contact. But the people themselves, their spirit, their blood, it flowed on, vibrant and resilient, a deep river carving new paths through the historical landscape. Today, over 7 million Maya people inhabit their ancestral lands, stretching from southern Mexico through Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, and Honduras. They are not ghosts of a forgotten past but living, breathing communities, fiercely guarding traditions that reach back millennia. Walk through the highlands of Guatemala, and you will hear Kitch or Caxical spoken, living languages directly from the tongues whispered in the ancient courts of Palenque and Tikal. See the intricate patterns in textiles, and you behold designs that mirror those etched onto sarcophagi. Their spiritual practices, syncretized with Catholicism, still honor ancient deities and cosmic cycles, their connection to the land and the stars unbroken. The legacy of the Maya is not just in the silent stones of Uxmal or Chichen Itza, which draw millions of tourists each year, serving as powerful monuments to a forgotten glory. It's in the farmers who continue to cultivate maize using techniques passed down from their ancestors, in the healers who draw on generations of botanical knowledge, and in the storytellers who keep the epic sagas of the Popol Vuh alive. These are the inheritors of the civilization that mapped the heavens, developed a complex writing system, and created a concept of zero centuries before Europe. Their mathematical genius, their calendars that predicted celestial events, their architectural prowess, these were not lost to the jungle. They were simply internalized, becoming part of the bedrock of a people's identity. Yet, this enduring legacy is not without its shadows. The Maya have faced centuries of oppression, from the bloody conquest of the Spanish to modern-day discrimination and economic exploitation. Their land is often coveted, their rights frequently ignored. Many live in poverty, struggling to preserve their heritage against globalization and neglect. But even in these struggles, their resilience shines. There are powerful movements for cultural revitalization, for linguistic preservation, for political representation. Modern Maya scholars are deciphering hieroglyphs, publishing in their native tongues, and educating the world about the true depth and continuity of their civilization. The Maya are a testament to the fact that empires may crumble, but people endure. Their story reminds us that history is not just about rise and fall, but about transformation, adaptation, and the incredible persistence of human culture against all odds. The echoes of their greatness don't just reside in the ruins. They resonate in the vibrant lives of their descendants, shaping the world with wisdom cultivated over thousands of years. They are not merely a subject of ancient history, they are a living, breathing testament to the profound, and often bloody, legacy of human civilization. So, we've journeyed through a civilization of stark, breathtaking contrasts. The Mayans, a people who charted the heavens with unparalleled precision, whose mathematicians conceived of the concept of 0 centuries before Europe, who etched intricate hieroglyphs into stone, telling stories of gods and kings. They built towering pyramids that clawed at the sky, designed cities in perfect alignment with cosmic events, and crafted art of exquisite beauty. They were geniuses of their age, masters of intellect and aesthetics. Yet, this same brilliant civilization was steeped in a chilling brutality. Their sophisticated calendar counted days to be marked by ritual bloodletting, by the agonizing screams of human sacrifice. War was not just about conquest, but about capturing victims for the altars, a grisly exchange with the gods they believed controlled their destiny. The jade masks hid faces that witnessed both enlightened discourse and the tearing out of beating hearts. Their legacy is a reminder that the highest pinnacles of human achievement can coexist with the darkest depths of ritualistic violence. Ultimately, this incredible civilization did not simply vanish overnight. Its decline was a slow, agonizing unraveling, a mystery still debated by scholars today. Was it relentless drought that withered their crops and sparked famines? Was it unchecked deforestation, turning lush rainforests into barren land? Or perhaps endless internal warfare, as powerful city-states bled each other dry, coupled with political instability and a loss of faith in their rulers? Whatever the exact cocktail of catastrophes, the classic Mayan cities withered, their grand structures slowly reclaimed by the jungle. But the Mayans themselves did not disappear. Millions of their descendants thrive today, speaking dozens of Mayan languages, upholding ancient traditions, a vibrant, living testament to a resilience forged in the shadow of empires. What do you think was the ultimate undoing of this extraordinary civilization? And what can their story teach us about the fragile balance between human ingenuity and our capacity for self-destruction? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep exploring these incredible true stories of history together. They were